What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zebec today, ZBCN. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the sixth day. Pardon me, hold on. It is the sixth day of January, and here we are sitting at about $0.003 right now. Down a little bit on the day. It's pretty neutral. We moved up, we've come back down. We're finding resistance at the same areas we found resistance before. I'm not really too amused with the price action. What I mean by that is I'm not worried, right? I don't think that we're going to come down. I don't believe that this interaction is going to promote the same price action that this one did or that this one did or that this one did. I don't think that we're going to be going to lower lows, okay? I do believe that we will break out of this, but first we'll probably consolidate and then move up. I want to look for signs on the 1 hour or the 4 hour that agree or disagree with what we're saying here and see if that makes sense. So let's do that. I don't know if I said it, but hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. $0.003 right now. A little bit of a double top look. Let's put. I always do this. I should really just save the. I should save it to the Bybit chart because it's Bybit has the all-time history for it anyways, and you have volume. Whereas I just don't like that it's perps, but whatever. You know, I just got to get over that. Whereas the crypto chart doesn't have volume, but it also has the all-time history. $0.003 right now, double top. You tried. You made a second attempt here to move higher. Did not have any volume at all. The volume came in once you started to sell, right? It's that red candle there. That's when you actually had volume. That's not a good sign. You want volume to build as you are moving higher. If it does this kind of stuff, that's typically where you pull back. And pullbacks in a moment like this, you can expect maybe A, B, C correction, something like that. So if we were to drop like that, what would we do? Maybe it will be, maybe it'll be a little bit bigger than this. But something that's just below this low, that wouldn't really be an area relative to find support at. So maybe we do go a little bit lower, down to about 0.028, perhaps. Let's just see. I'm not seeing a whole lot of significance at that area. That doesn't mean you can't find support there. I wouldn't think that that's where we go. Let's look. Let's put a low and then put a high on here. I mean, the 382 is right there with the high. Typically, you do go just below the 382 and then you close above it. You wick below, but you close above. I mean, it makes so much more sense, I think, to go to 0.028, somewhere around there. So that's what I'm going to call for. Let's just do this too real quick, from a low to a high. Low to a high here. 0.0283 is the golden ratio, which rests just on top of this high here. There's a lot of significance down there. We're on the 1 hour time frame. This is a very insignificant time frame, so it's going to happen fast, but still that's what I would expect happens. I would think that we go down to 0.028, and I say fast, it doesn't have to happen today, but probably over the next day or two, maybe 3. By the end of this week, we should be back down there and then moving up. That correlates with the call that I had for Bitcoin to kind of pull back, and maybe most cryptos as well to pull back. We look at this on the. Do we even look at the indicators yet? We did all that without the indicators. Rejecting the overbought zone after getting into it, right? You consistently were getting into it. You're building up to it and then living in there, and now you're rejecting it. It's a clear sign that things are changing, right? Things are not gradual. Like they somewhat are, but they also are very sudden in this game, right? It was a gradual shift to get bullish. But once you stop being bullish, once you start rejecting, as soon as that happened, boom, bearish. And this RSI at the moment is incredibly bullish, but you're high enough where you could come down, still maintain a bullish stance, get a little bit lower, and then recover from there. The stochastics are neutral, but I would say bearish because you're coming from the up down. Whereas if we were neutral but coming from the down up, I might be more bullish, right? It's typically that's what you look for, is like this, just like ranging between them, right? It's not always that way, obviously, but that's just the idea of it. 1 hour MACD building bearish momentum, that's a bearish thing right there. The fact that you bounced off the orange line. So yeah, lower prices, guys. 4 hour, I'm not going to go into it as in depth, but bearish divergence on the MACD. No, maybe. Hold on. Yes, technically bearish divergence on the MACD, RSI, and the stochastics. At a point where you found resistance before, but again, look at what you're doing already. It's different. It is different than what you've seen the last 2 times. Here, you just spiked up and spiked down, right? Both times. Here, you're already doing something a little bit different. It looks different here at the top. Instead of just a spike, you've got like a lollipop, right? You've got this little like circle up here that you're hanging out at. Let's see. Nothing really else to say there on the 4 hour. Daily time frame, with a red close today, you will be rejecting the overbought zone, and typically that means that you will move down until you find support at the 60 or thereabouts, or at the 50 or thereabouts, and maybe, just maybe, all the way down at the 40, though I doubt you get that low, but it's possible. You know, you connect the dots here at these higher lows, you basically have a straight line to that 50 there. Let me actually use a straight line. I mean, it's practically a straight line to that 50. And you could, I know this is not necessarily fun to think about, but you could consolidate until the end of January, and then we move up. That was the original thought at the end of December and the beginning of this month. That was the original thought that we had anyways, is that you wouldn't see exciting price action take place until the end of the month. I don't know. If we consolidate here, guys, for the next couple of weeks or few weeks, that's okay. Don't get disheartened. Zebec is certainly, and I'm not calling for that. I want to be clear. It makes a lot of sense on the RSI, but at the same time, this higher low, we don't, it doesn't need to be a channel. Maybe you form a higher low right here. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be a channel. The way I'm drawing it would be as if it has a channel. So coming down to the 50 down here, you know, by the 27th, it's just a nice kind of gradual decline, something like that. That makes sense, but we could absolutely find support at the 60 or the 50. All I'm trying to say here is once we hit the 60 or the 50, that's when I'll become bullish. I don't care if it happens tomorrow. I don't care if it happens at the end of January. I don't care if it happens at the end of February. I'm not bullish at the moment until one of maybe two things happens. One, we close into the overbought zone. Today's actually a green day, and I don't just mean into it like we are now, but into it a little bit more. Today's actually a green day, and I'm wrong. We don't close the day red. The second thing I'm looking for is if we do close today red, that would imply that we go down to the 60 or to the 50 to bounce, right? Most likely. We could go to the 40, but likely we wouldn't do that. And then the third thing we're looking for is just breaking out of this range overall as far as price action goes. Whenever we get above this daily high close at 0034, roughly, that should ignite a spark that allows us to retrace this whole movement down we've had since August of 2025. From the high to the low of that move to November 21st there. Oops, I'm sorry. Let's take this. I think I've done that before. We'll take this high. And with that, we should take this low because I think this is all just one big range. That's a fake out low, right? But really this encapsulates, I think, most of it. I think this is what we will respect. When we break above 0035 or 00, I think it was 0034, that's the daily close. Let's move it up. Let's say 00355. When we close a day above there, that yellow line, it's all in the same area. That should allow us to grow to new highs altogether. And it won't just be one fell swoop. There will be volatility along the way. But we will get there. The one fell swoop move likely happens from 0056 to 0063, somewhere in that range. Once we're up in this area, that's when we can expect to pick up the pace a little bit. I'm sure things will move fast at various points getting up there too, but once we get up to this point, we break out, the expected target outcome is 3 cents to 4.5 cents. That's where we're thinking we're going to go. And again, that's all predicated off of the fact that I believe that this move up will be bigger than our last move up. This last move up, if we were to measure it from here, would take us right to this zone. So if we're going to be bigger than this zone, if we're going to go higher than this zone, then it makes sense that the next zone, the 2272 and the 2618, should be thought of. As much as we want to be bullish to 6 to 7 cents, I just don't think we have it in us. It's possible. Anything's possible. This is crypto. But I think that a grounded base in expectations would be something between 4.5 cents to 3 cents, maybe even 2 cents. 2 cents is a possibility, but then we would have, again, we'd have a move that's similar and identical to this one, which that's not what I'm calling for. So it'll be similar, but not identical. Anyways, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.